Hey, Chris Liepe here. Panic at the Disco, Viva Las Vengeance, Brendon Urie, isolated vocals. This whole album is absolutely incredible. The vocal performances were reportedly recorded live to tape. The whole project was, which makes everything all the more impressive, from the arranging to the execution and the sounds. And what a breath of fresh air to dig into an album like this, where it breathes and feels performed instead of pieced together. Don't get me wrong, I like lots of different albums and lots of different approaches, but this album made me go, really fun to listen to. We're going to be going through the isolated vocals of the title track, lots to unpack in terms of Brendon's approach. If you like the way I approach dissecting vocals and want to go deeper with your own voice, click the link below and join my free voice course, and I can help you work with your voice to do some of the things that Brendon does.
Pyramid of bones, kids with loaded guns, parked on a power strip. I'm already dead, what's stuck in the shed, I'm so out of it.
It's important right off the bat to understand the foundation of Brendon's approach, because he has such a fantastic range. And this, not this part of the song, but the other parts of the song hover around the C5, the tenor C, and then that last note. Make sure you stick around for that last note. I'll unpack how he does it. It's an F5. Totally incredible. But if we understand his posture in the lower notes and his approach, we can get an understanding of how he's doing things, and then what he's doing, and his huge range doesn't seem as unapproachable. It actually seems doable for the average singer in some ways.
Pyramid of ones.
Pyramid of ones, pyramid of ones. If I'm just singing it stupidly, that's how I would do it. No, he's got this lower larynx position. Pyramid of ones, pyramid of ones. He carries this approach as he goes higher. I'm exaggerating it a little bit, but there's this little bit of yawn, and I'll point this out more as we go, but be listening for this. Pyramid, and even though he's up front and aggressive, kind of in your face, there's a little bit of laziness that he's sort of hiding from us.
Someone did me wrong, stole my favorite song, yes it really hurt. Stepped on every chord, fell on every sword, yes Excalibur.
Now listen there.
Yes Excalibur.
Yes, Excalibur! He actually brings his resonance back. He's resonating very forward. And then there's a little bit of that where he's bringing his resonance back, resonating more towards his soft palate, feathering out with that vibrato. This is key, and you're going to keep seeing how key it is as he gets higher and more aggressive.
Yes, Excalibur. I don't want to be a diva. I just want to be free. On a sofa with sativa, living the dream.
This is not living the dream. It's not 80s Axl Rose approach. If I'm really going to exaggerate this placement, it is this. Live in the dream, live in the dream. Lower larynx, live in the dream. And notice as I go higher, even over that blatant E vowel, I'm able to keep that E as E and not dream. Not that. This is a particular kind of mixed voice that allows you to be upfront, yet mellower, less brash. And I walk people through this approach in my courses, but you should know that it's based on this posture of a mild yawn. Dream
Live in the dream. Shut up and go to bed. She said, Viva Las Vegas. Shut up and go Viva Las Vegas.
There's that C5. Now listen here to Shut Up.
Viva Las Vegas. Shut up and go to bed.
It's relatively clean. Listen to Bed.
To bed.
Bed! If I were to arc this phrase, Shut Up is cleaner and lighter. He's not just shouting. If he tried to hit these in full chest, although he hides it well and it sort of sounds chesty the whole time, that C5 is mix. It's just sort of shrouded in other chesty notes. Shut up! And no, it's lighter. I'm not reaching for it. Shut up and go to bed. He really brightens up there. Bed, go to bed. There's that resonance transfer that helps him dynamically walk through that phrase, not burn out any one part of his voice or approach, and really nail with some good compressed, bright resonance there at the end of that phrase.
I can have my feet and back you on me. No one really cares. Nothing's really real. No one really feels nothing to declare.
I love the crooner sort of vibe he's got. It's so wonderfully theatrical, and I realize his influences really play into this, but he executes it so well and puts his own spin and puts a modern, aggressive yet quirky and playful sound to it. It's just top notch. One of the best singers around today.
I don't want to be anonymous, but I don't want to be you. In a sea full of promises.
There's another example there. He's got these vowels. He's not opening them way up. There's not a lot of vowel modification, even though he's really high. Listen again.
In a sea full of
In a city, right? It's not in a city. He's not shouting it the whole time. He's got a very good command on how to thin his approach that clean mix in those higher notes, and doesn't have to, modify these vowels majorly or strain to hit these notes.
In a sea full of promises, nothing rings true.
There it is again. Nothing rings true. So much better than what a lot of us try to do when we're hitting these notes. Nothing rings true. We're not saying true, we're singing true. And he goes even higher, maintains composure. His technique is impeccable. But because we understand that this is technique, this is practice, yeah, he's a gifted singer. But his approach is what is allowing him to do this. His adherence to proper approach is giving him freedom.
It's true. Shut up and go to bed. She said, Viva Las Vegas. Shut up and go to bed.
I like how that felt a little strained. As much as he is making this sound easy, he also makes it sound like he has to work for it, and he is working for it, which engages the listener. If it just sounded too easy, if there was no like, is he gonna make it? And part of that is the way that this was recorded, right? It's so much less produced that you latch on to each note. This note is a perfect example.
Shut up and go to bed. She said, Viva Las Vegas.
Beautiful vibrato too.
Giving up the key to paint a masterpiece. What am I doing here?
Another great example of the regular sort of speech engaged vowels.
Giving up the key to paint a masterpiece.
So good.
Stuck here in the weeds on a road that leads to nowhere, to nowhere.
Great writing there. Great harmonic choices and blending with those background vocals. That half step down thing there.
To nowhere, to nowhere, to nowhere, to nowhere, to nowhere.
Listen how he opened up there. That's cool.
To nowhere, to nowhere.
A little bit of rasp. To nowhere, to nowhere. He brightens it, adds a little bit more compression to living something heavy. To nowhere, to nowhere. He gets a little bit of grit in there. So cool sounding.
To nowhere.
Really let that one resonate a little further back as well, towards the soft palate.
Shut up, go to bed.
Beautiful breathiness.
Viva lost vengeance. Shut up. Viva lost vengeance.
Again there, nice, thin, well-placed, well-resonating high C. But listen here.
Shut up.
Shut up. We have a tendency to equate rasp with a waste of breath or a damaged voice. What he's doing here is actually using breathiness by engaging compression. He's actually holding back a little bit of air. Shut up. No. Shut up. No. Shut up. Shut up and go to bed. That's nice and raspy because he's actually holding back air with the area above his voice box, the false chord area of his vocal tract.
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh, I love the fall offs there. Shut up. He actually lets the note grow. He starts a little bit clean, puts in a little bit of vibrato. This posture is allowing him to do it multiple times in a row and not burn his voice out. He just keeps getting better and better towards the end of the song here.
Shut up and go to bed. She said, Viva Las Vegas.
And listen to how these notes are connected to his chest voice again here.
She said,
very dark and chesty and crooner, and then shut up and go, shut up and go. Oh.
She said, Viva Las.
Wait for it. I told you to wait till the end note.
Viva Las Vegas. Every moment is a replay. I'm being buried alive. Didn't want to kill a DJ.
He's thinning out even more here. He's budgeting for this last note. He knows it's coming.
Didn't want to kill a DJ.
Didn't want to kill the DJ. As opposed to didn't want. Right? That's a little thicker. Didn't want. He's thinned it out. He's brought it back. He's using a little bit less air there.
Didn't want to kill a DJ. But it can't hurt to try.
Listen again. We have to analyze this in two different ways. We have the try to place that note, which is back, more yawn, dropped larynx, try, and then listen to what happens here. He brings it, try. See how I'm bringing it forward, resonating a little bit more in the mask, a little bit less yawning, raising my larynx, whining it a bit more, twanging it a bit more. And then you can hear right there, there's more of that twang. There's more of that tilt. It gets brighter. He changes the placement in order to really deliver the note. Now, is it easier because he's changing the placement? It's both a little bit easier and sounds cooler. Try! I have to strain by keeping the same resonant approach and placement. My neck really sort of tensed up there. I can feel it right in here. But if I let go and twang it or cry it a bit more, try! I can go a little higher, and it works. Now, what I'm doing is not near as refined and certainly not as impressive because he's doing this likely in in a longer body or close to one take, but simultaneously praising Brendon for his marvelous voice and beautiful writing and performing, and then also realizing that it's a combination of talent, hard work, and right approaches. And these right approaches, even though we may not get close to what he's doing, it can still inform our own inspiration and our own singing and influence us in ways that will help us grow as musicians and creatives. Thanks for watching. Thanks for digging in to Viva Las Vengeance Isolated Vocals Edition. If you haven't looped this album and just really gotten a ton out of it, there's lots of nods to Queen and a lot of my other favorite artists and some good, 80s and 90s guitar sounds too. It's just wonderful. If you haven't really dug into this album yet, make sure you do. Again, if you want more help with your own voice, click that link below and join my free course. We'll see you for more.